The training arm of the Liberia's Bankers Association and the Central Bank of Liberia announces the commencement of its professional training program in the following categories. Professional development training. This targets graduate and seniors and degree holders. Courses we offered include microfinance, banking and finance, public accounting and finance, audit and internal controls, procurement and supply chain management, monitoring and evaluation, compliance and corporate risk management, work planning and report writing, office administration and organization management, customer service and human resource management, project planning and management, and computerized accounting, which includes QuickBooks, Excels, and Tally. Duration for this program is 3 months. Tuition is just US $275. The second program covers business development training. The Banking Institute of Liberia also offers training for high school graduates and college students in small business development and management and microfinance management. Duration for this program is just 2 months. Tuition stands at $205. All of our fees are payable in 3 installments. Training program at the Banking Institute of Liberia are facilitated by bank executives and financial experts. BRL is committed to providing professional training to all of its clients at international standards. For more information, visit the Institute's office on Warren and Kerry Street's intersection in the old Microfinance building of the Central Bank of Liberia. Banking Institute of Liberia, the Center of Excellence in Banking and Financial Management Training.
Attention, attention, attention to all lovers of the good things in life. A house is not a home, and a home is the one place where you should feel relaxed and accomplished. Your home should reflect who you are. So, it's time to make that upgrade with minimal damage to your pockets. And I have the perfect solution for you. Home Sweet Home, located on Benson Street, between Center and Buchanan Streets, got you covered. From the kitchen, we have air fryers, juice makers, pressure cookers, freezers of all sizes, and all the modern kitchenwares you can think about. From the bedroom, we have top-of-the-line, exquisite beddings to give you that great night's sleep because you have earned it, and soft, comfortable towels for your bathroom. And in the living room, we have high-definition TV sets of all sizes, unique aerial rugs, classy curtains in all the colors you desire, wall paintings of different sizes and colors, furniture, and everything you can think about for the home. All that at unbelievable prices. We even have low voltage, high quality washing machines and dryers to keep your clothes fresh and new at all times. As a bonus, we have fashion accessories for both the young and the old, designer quality bags, hats, and rare jewelries. So if you love yourself, your family, and your home, it's time to treat it right. Visit Home Sweet Home on Benson Street between Center and Buchanan Streets for that needed upgrade. Or you can call them on 0886 834 944 or 0770 581 420. Home Sweet Home, for the love of a classy home.
Welcome. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We are here on the final lap of this evening. And of course, tomorrow will be Friday. And on tomorrow, Chokon Urapu will be here. But we have the head of Central. Central is the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. We'll talk about their activities they are engaged with. And, right here we know they've been playing their role as a major civil society organization from government to government, from period to period, and they're always on the issues. Anderson, welcome.
Thank you, Julius. Happy New Year. I think we're meeting for the first time
Yes, yeah.
since the year started.
Many happy returns.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, how is Central? How are things going?
Thank God, thank God. It's always good to be around, to be alive. We're trying. Yes, things may not sometimes go the way we want to see them go. But in everything, we should say thank you to God for life. And we're hoping that we can continue to have these conversations. And thank you to the team here, the leadership and the team for all that you've been doing.
Okay, we understand that there has been, there is this partnership that you have with the Embassy of Ireland in Liberia. Tell us exactly what did they award to Central? What is it for?
So in 2023, we started engaging with the Embassy of Ireland in Liberia to partner and have some engagements around governance and democratic governance and accountability issues. So that engagement, after periods of back and forth, resulted to a partnership, a full-blown partnership that was consummated around September of 2024. So that's when we formally signed the partnership agreement. And this agreement is not just between Centaur and Irish Aid or the Embassy of Ireland in Liberia. We have three civil society organizations that are part of a consortium. We call the consortium Governance Consortium. So we have NAMOT. NAMOT is a household name in Liberia when it comes to engaging around democracy issues, governance issues, accountability issues. We also have the Center for Democratic Governance. They're also more into research. They're into engagements around democratic sustainability. And then, of course, Center that your humble servant represent. So that project, which is meant to strengthen political governance and accountability in Liberia, is a 3-year program that began in September of 2024 and it runs for 3 years, like I said. And what we're doing under that program, there are different streams, three different layers. We want to work with citizens, build a capacity such that we give them what it takes, not just in terms of training, but create spaces or platforms that they can use to make their voices heard.
How when you say make their voices heard in
So,
terms of what?
so, so, for example, as you know, we have the fight against corruption, for example, and Center, with the support of the Embassy of Sweden and CDAT, has launched a corruption case tracker, and we also have the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. So, what this project is contributing to is empowering citizens, especially in the counties that are targeted, Maigibi, Grand Bassa, and Bon counties, such that they have adequate information on what they need to know to not just report corruption, but lead by examples themselves in the different communities and the places they find themselves. But important to that is the whole issue of reporting acts of corruption. But then, as you're also aware, there are different processes ongoing now to decentralize the government. Of course, we haven't fully gotten to that point as yet, but we have the county councils, we have county service centers, and some of these local structures. So, part of the project will work with citizens, build a capacity such that they demand accountability from those that are managing the different processes at the local level. The county service centers, for example. Right now, we just had the government launching the National Development Agenda as well as the agendas of the different counties. So it is going to be part of what we look at under this project in terms of engaging with citizens, especially at the community level,
To see how
and
it
yeah, to
is.
see how the county development agenda for those counties that we're working in directly will impact the people. So part of what we will do with them in terms of the engagement will be training around anti-corruption issues, training them to the local government act, training them to the revenue sharing act, and then basically providing them with information, but then also platforms that exist that they can leverage either at the local level or at the national level to participate more meaningfully in the whole development process of the country, but then the counties that they find themselves in. Part of what we're doing also under that project is to ensure that we, for example, track the national budget in terms of the resources that are going to different sectors, especially so health and education. So the three partner organizations have different areas that they're leaning on. Of course, Centa, will lead on the string on anti-corruption. So all of the engagements we have around, anti-corruption, dealing with corruption related issues, whether it is
Accountability.
accountability, training of community people, the local actors engaging with local officials and all the other players in terms of having information that they can use to engage more meaningfully. NAMO Partners for Democratic Development is also a partner to this project, to the consortium. They are one of the consortium members. They have been more into democratic sustainability or political accountability, basically. So they will be working a lot with the stakeholders at the local level. In fact, there are some engagements that are coming up from the end of NAMOD in the coming weeks to go into the counties along with the Ministry of Internal Affairs to engage with citizens around the local government act and some of the other decentralization related processes that are ongoing, especially so in the wake of endorsement or approval and official launch of the national agenda, but then the agendas of the different counties, especially the three counties that we're working in. At the end of the day, what we want to see, a key part of it is to ensure that marginalized groups, women, persons with disabilities, and those who are affected by corruption and the different issues, governance issues at the national level, but then also at the local level, they can have spaces, meaningful spaces, independent spaces that they can make their voices heard by demanding accountability
Well,
of
you keep talking about these spaces. Can you give us
a practical
an
example.
example, yeah, of
Okay.
how it's going to look like?
Okay, so one space for engagement would be, for example, we have dialogues that we'll be organizing at the local level. At these dialogues, we're going to be bringing the local leaders, the county administrative officers, those who manage the county service centers, or those who are overseeing different sectors and institutions at the local level, whether education, health. We will be bringing these people together along with citizens to engage, to have conversations around local development, what is happening, what resources are going to the counties, such that with that kind of platform, bringing the leaders and the people together, they can ask, they can engage, they can collaborate in ensuring that what may not be going right, the requisite questions can be asked, and then the next steps identified in terms of how to make things right. So when we talk about platforms, that's one of the things that we're talking about. As part of the project, we also will have community level engagements beyond the dialogues that we have at the county capital levels. So within the different communities, we also will have forums and dialogues. At that level, the community level actors will interact with the citizens, the women, the youths, and all these different players. Because the thing is, Often in that, when we talk about accountability issues or corruption, we tend to focus a lot at the central level or even in a county, but we focus on the leadership. But at the community level, at the district level, in terms of education, for example, or health, there are also issues. There are also leaders. There are also players. So what this project is meant to achieve, in fact, we're doing what we call a scorecard. NAMO is leading that process, such that
A scorecard for what?
a scorecard focusing on health. So we're dealing with two counties. Of course, we do not have all of the resources to,
Have
you
you
know, to,
have
to
you decided which counties you operate in?
yeah, that's what I said. I said the project is in Grand Bassa, Margibi, and Bone counties. So that scorecard process is ongoing right now in terms of engaging with citizens, the community people.
What is it measuring?
So is measuring what is happening around education. So these are two sectors that are tied very heavily to human development. So if you improve services in education, the quality of education, most likely you are empowering people to be self-sufficient, to quality education. Of course, the jobs and all the different things will have to be available. But even with quality education, you can innovate and find jobs for yourself. So that's why we're looking at education, but then also health. A healthy population, will most likely, be in a better position to contribute to what is happening in a country, whether at the national level or at the local level. So that scorecard is going to basically assess what's happening in a particular community around education at the moment, such that with the information, the community people can come together to see how they can identify the challenges, but then the next steps in terms of how to deal with them. So it's a combination of different things in terms of engaging at the national level, but then also focusing on local level engagements and working with different stakeholders. So while we engage with ordinary citizens and the community people, we also will be engaging a lot. We've started to do some of that already with the local administrations, such that the feedback we get from the communities, we can use them to engage the county administration. But at the central level, here in Montserrat, where you have the lawmakers, LACC, and all these different institutions, part of what we will be leading on at Centar will be to follow up on anti-corruption cases that are being reported to our platform, the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, that we will be
because
sending.
the last time you people were here, we talked about that.
Yeah, that we will be sending to the LACC. So when these cases come, we process them, send them. There has to be follow up. We've done the tracker. We're not here to talk, much about it, but it's an online platform that has been developed by Centar with support from
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sweden.
saying. The last time I think it was Gerald.
Yeah,
who came,
Jared, myself, was here
and we
with I
spoke
think
about that.
Daniel. So
Yeah, we spoke about it
yeah,
extensively.
yeah. So that platform basically is a place where you can go to get information on the corruption cases that the government is dealing with. So the link again is www.cct, which is corruption case tracker .cental.org.lr. So that is the link to the tracker again, www.cct, which represents corruption case tracker .cental center.org.lr. So all of these different engagements we will be having will be meant to ensure that people benefit from the resources, local resources, but then also the resources that are coming from the national level to the counties to help support service delivery, whether in health, in education, or the other critical sectors.
Well, full disclosure, what is the lifespan of this project? What is the amounts in dollars and cents?
So the project is a 1.5 million euro project, and we said three counties I covered: Grand Bassa, Margibi, and Bone counties. So we'll be engaging at the community level, but then also having some national level engagements. Because when you identify the issues within the communities, you can work with them such that they engage with the local authority and the other players to deal with those issues. But some of the issues from the communities have local, national connections. So we then lift those issues like we're here right now, to talk about them such that we get the kind of attention. And I was happy when the last program, the team was talking about what is happening in the counties, even though we're not dealing with my Bapulu County under this project, but it's also covered under the National Integrated Building Anti-Corruption Program that we're doing with Sweden. So the resources of the country must impact more positively and meaningfully the people, those that reside. I mean, there for the entirety of the country, the population, but those who live in close proximity to these resources and where the mining and other activities are taking place, they deserve a little bit more because they are directly affected by the different operations. If there's spillage, if there's pollution of the streams, the rivers, and everything, the forests, they will get affected first before the rest of the other people can. So the government has to really ensure that those who come in the name of investing in a country should be real investors. And sometimes it can be exciting, frustrating when you see people come in sometimes with little or nothing. I don't know how some of the time the government reviews and gives these different lessons and all of that to some of the business people we have, especially those who come from out in the name of investors and all of that. Some of them either lack the capacity or because of the corrupt nature of the system, they are into collusive acts with different people at different levels. At the end result, the actual people who are supposed to be benefiting do not really benefit. Few people get some monies into their pockets, and the vast majority of the people, become the victims at the end of the day. So these are things that we need to really work on as we engage, such that if an investor comes in, if government puts 1 million in the budget for education to procure textbooks and all of that, those materials should reach the end users.
What is the duration of the project?
We said 3 years. I said 3 years.
And it started when?
September 2024.
Okay. So, uh, now, what are other things you're involved with? Central doesn't draw back when it comes to anti-corruption, making statements, or getting involved in different initiatives at the same time. You can be doing two, three, four, five different things at the same time. So, what are the other things you're involved with?
Yeah, we're doing several other things, but one of the things I want to say to the project before transitioning is the fact that under the project we're keen about inclusion. So there will be deliberate efforts. We've started to make those efforts already to ensure that we have adequate participation of women and other groups, youth and other groups at different levels of the project implementation. So the work we will be doing in the counties and even at the national level, but much of the engagements will be in the counties. We ensure that the different groupings will have a say in deciding on what happens. So a lot of the time, and I wouldn't say the first time, but in many years, we had launching ceremonies for this project in the counties. So often in that, we launch projects here and don't go to the counties to do launching ceremonies as well. There are other engagements we have, but to officially go to the county, gather stakeholders, and say, look, the same way we've launched the project at the national level, we're doing likewise here. And prior to even that launch, engaging, getting buy-in, and all of that. We've not done that in a long time. So that's one of the things that we did with this project. So each of the the project or the consortium members is leading engagements in different counties. So NAMO, for example, is leading engagements in Bone County. The Center for Democratic Governance is leading our engagements in Grand Bassa, and we are leading the engagement in Margibi. So we had launching ceremonies in each of the three counties, and it was really exciting in terms of the people we had in the room, the inputs, the feedback, and all of that. What we're hoping is that as we do the actual implementation, the different engagements, at the end of the day, the people can benefit. The project can make the kind of impact it's supposed to make, because we're not receiving these resources to just have engagements here and there. And you can see, I know it can be tricky with the kind of work we do for people to see
The impact.
impact. It's not like maybe building hand pumps, doing wells, buying textbooks and distributing them, which are physical. So sometimes it can be tricky to really identify impact. You'll be saying, okay, we've done training, we've given people the space to talk. They didn't used to talk before, at least now they can talk. Or because we engaged, somebody reported corruption, and then there was action taken. Somebody was dismissed and prosecuted. So these are the impacts that you show for the kind of work we do. But yeah, as we move on, we're really hoping that we can partner with the media. That's important to say. There are different partners and stakeholders we have to engage with on the project. The media has been a key part of what we do. It will continue to be. Civil society organizations that work around the different issues we're focusing on, and those who may not even be directly working on these issues, they will be critical in terms of providing inputs. And the local communities, of course, are the targets and beneficiaries of what we're doing. So they're very key. The county administration, those who are managing the county service centers, and all the different decentralization processes. LCC, for example, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, there's a component of the project that is going to engage with the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, around climate governance, following up on climate related resources. So we're really hoping that we can deepen engagements around these issues to ensure that the impact, can really be felt in the lives of the people.
This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We have with us Anderson Miame, head of Central, that's the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. Talking about this, the stakeholders, the different people you're supposed to engage with, what is the acceptance level? How do they, for example, if you wanted citizens to engage with the stakeholders, does it work well? Are they accepting? Or how do you ensure uh, that those spaces have all of those that you need there?
Um, Perhaps because of the institutions that are involved. Some of the time we experience challenges in terms of other people' busy schedules not allowing them to participate, or the kind of people you want across the table. But most of the time, we enjoy very good relationship with people at the national level and even at the local level. So the meetings we've had so far have been really, really good in terms of having the quality of participation expected. What we would need would be for that kind of quality engagement to continue as we move on. So in the different counties, we managed to bring the county councils. That's a structure that has been set up at the local level to replace what used to be the PMC, or the Project Management Committee. There's been a lot of noise around how the county social development funds were used. So based on the local government act, there have been regulations developed, and you have a 9-man council in the different counties. Of course, setting them up is one thing. Empowering them, we've been doing some trainings for them on some of the other projects we have, especially with what we're doing with CDAT. But these councils will be key in helping to shape, in a different way, the way development is done at the local level, especially so that there's been so much noise over time, around how the local resources, are allocated and utilized. That's something we also want to see improved as we move on.
Before we can go to the lines, let's talk a bit about does the entity still have some concerns with the government in terms of transparency and anti-corruption initiatives of the government implementation, whether it's asset declaration and all those kinds of things?
So many of them, so many of them. Of course, the project is supporting our work and the broader anti-corruption engagement. So, by the way, I must say that we're in the process of developing our state of corruption report for 2024. So we're very in advanced stage of that process. There are different engagements that are taking place, and we're hoping that at the appropriate time this year, we can come to the public, to inform them about the report, the launching, dissemination, and all the other aspects that will follow. Yes, we've been observing the different trends and dynamics since this government came to power. These things we document and communicate in that report. As we also gather views from the different stakeholders, we're engaging with media actors, civil society actors, government actors around what is happening. We also will be going to the communities to talk to people about their perspectives, their views on corruption, how they've experienced corruption, and what they believe needs to happen to ensure that we end the culture of impunity for corruption in Liberia. So yes, these things are happening. It's mixed in terms of what we have seen so far. There have been some positive developments, of course, in terms of the government um, walking along the lines of ensuring that there is transparency and accountability. We saw the government continuing with the payroll reform that was initiated by the previous administration. It even started before the George Weah's administration, but then they continued, and this government has continued on that path laudably. Our only concern, as we've always indicated around that whole payroll reform thing, is the fact that often in that we identify the ghosts and those who are double dippers in the system, those who defraud the system, but we don't act either dismiss or suspend those who bring these people in the system and even retain them. So for you to have ghosts here on the payroll of OKFM, somebody who's either living in the US or somewhere else is not working here, for that person to continue receiving pay, people here should be a part of it. Either the controller, the financial people, or there has to be people, connected to that process. Our disappointment with that whole payroll reform, and all of that is the fact that over time we haven't heard much about that XYZ number of people in different institutions have been either dismissed or suspended for their involvement in involvement in collusive activities that have made government to lose SYC amount of money in terms of paying double dippers and all of that. So that's the disappointment. We've also seen the president acting in some of the instances when there are allegations of corruption. So we saw him recently acting when there were news about news came up about corruption at the at LRRC. That was laudable. But why these things are happening, some other things are happening as well that do not tend to support, as we've indicated, the president's commitment in fostering a genuine, inclusive, and holistic fight against corruption. The asset declaration thing is one thing. I don't know why the president has allowed his office or himself to fail. I would say basically in dealing with his officials in
The
terms
last
of
10 days that he gave passed ever since.
past ever since. You're talking about almost a
Do you
month now.
think the LSCC is strong? Is it not complicit in these?
LSCC has its own share of the blame. We will look more at the aspect around verifying these assets. We have told them. I mean, over time they've complained about not having resources. Our understanding is that they're reviewing or verifying a number of the assets at the moment. But we've said that they could do more. The argument has been that they don't have resources, and we've said, look, bulk of the physical assets that people are, accused of accumulating are situated right in Monserrato, in the Marshall area or around here. So it wouldn't really cost much. I mean, it is not as if you wouldn't need resources, financial resources altogether or logistics. But what it would take you to go to Green Crew, for example, to verify a physical asset may not be the same thing that you need to go right across the road here out of Douala and the nearby places. So that's what we have with the LSCC. But the government often than not has not done enough to really show serious commitment. So I mean, multiple times the president has given up ultimatum. He gave that ultimatum. We're told at some point he was practically begging his officials to declare the assets. Why will you beg people to comply with a law that you have complied with as the leader of the country? So that's concerning. It doesn't show political will. We've also seen a level of selective, action or cherry picking in terms of the president's action. We saw him acting relatively swiftly when there was allegation of corruption at LRRC. We haven't seen him doing likewise with other reports that has come up on LTA implicating the current chairperson. And the president acted initially on some allegations of corruption at LTA to remove the whole, batch of commissioners that were there to bring in the new set of people he has. I mean, there's a whole argument around whether or not that action of his was genuine and all of that after people had gone to Supreme Court and the court ruled in their favor based on turning position and all of that. But the point is, if you used an audit report or some allegation of corruption to remove people, why can't you act on the next report that has come up implicating one of the persons you've appointed? Why do we have people at LTA acting for almost a year? These are governance issues. These are accountability issues. So the president, if he desires to retain these people in this position, he should, appoint them and they go to the Senate for confirmation. But to have people acting for more than a year, that's concerning. I mean, there are other issues that we have identified. Like I said, a number of passages. We may not talk about all of them here, but the president has to really do more. Okay. At the moment, he hasn't shown too much in terms of impartiality in dealing with issues. Dog Cooper, I want to end, with the whole Dog Cooper thing. Somebody has been accused of academic fraud. The University of Liberia has announced that they investigated and dismissed and suspended some people in connection to the academic fraud or saga involving Dog Cooper. Why hasn't the president acted? Since it's been more than 3 months since that report came up. So maybe the president is seeing something that we are not seeing. He should come to the public and provide the information. But it's concerning that you will act, when certain things happen, but then similar things will happen elsewhere or even more, and you don't act as a leader. It then shows, a level of cherry picking in your actions, which is not the kind of fight against corruption that we want.
His name is Anna Semiame of Central, 077-700-995, 055-995-995. Ernest Bailey says, I think the community engagement strategy that is being discussed by your guest is better. Let those who are directly affected by the many corrupt activities be fully involved with this process. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello? Oh, you went off. Welcome.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
This is Alex. I'm calling from Freetown. Okay, I will urge the president. He's our president. He's excellently almost GND. But the academic fraud involving this guy, a ball keeper, let him speedily go ahead and let him get all the funding because this is not good for a country, especially when it comes to the issue of academic. Here with fraud, they say, I qualify for this kind of thing there and all the kind of thing that then we put them, they will not be able to perform the work. The next is officials of government that are caught in corruption. Let them bring them to speedy trial. Because if you delay and then somebody acting for a whole year as an acting person at the LTA is not correct. You want to fund them, let them go for confirmation. If he fails, you find a different person, but the person acting there, all the kind of thing there. So this is not too good as the way the man is stressing that. It shows some sort of partiality. It's not correct. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks so kindly as well. Let's see who's on this end. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you very much, Julius J. Happy New Year. This is Lahadi So, and I call you from Renaissance Intellectual Center here in Claratown.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Miami from Center. Let me start by appreciating the Center boss for all of what he and his entity actually doing for the people of this country. You know, to uphold democracy is something that is very great. And his institution is doing well by not actually closing their mouth on things that are affecting the existence of this particular country. So the project in the three counties you made mention of is something laudable because you see our people should be aware of good governance. And some of the things that are affecting or, causing whatever development are supposed to take place. But some of those actions are as a result of those things not really taking effect. It's good to pinpoint them. So to educate our people so that they can have those things recorded is something very important. And let me again commend his institution. He is doing well. But one thing I want to find out from Mr. Miami, given what you do and some of those corrupt politicians, normally when you are bringing out some of these things, do you really feel threatened? Has it at any point in time been that some of these people issue threat against your life? I really want to know. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks so kindly as well. Welcome. Let's hear you. Yes. Welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Ali, for the comment that you do somewhere, Julia, let me comment. Mr. Naman studio, Mr. Naman and some or of course we support the government, but most of the things that the president is doing for me, I want to commend him for the application. We will not criticize him, say why we president, we are done, we're not talking about now because the people is saying for something because for early all the way to president, we are coming now to President Baka, we see the consistency in it. So for me, I want to commend him for that and continue. Really like people who follow it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks so kindly as well. Let's see if someone is on this end. No. Welcome. Let's hear you. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Julia.
Yeah?
This is Daniel calling from Oro.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to Anderson Miami. You know, I follow a long man following the man. But the center, I want to really know how center was funded. Who is the head of center? Who is the co-president of center?
Why is that one? Why is that one important to you?
Yeah, because I want to know how center is done wrong. Who is the head?
I'm asking you now. Why is it important to you?
Because always only hear Anderson Miami voice on the radio.
No, that's not true. We have hosted different people from Central.
Okay, so another question: is there center only in Morocco or are they planning to central as center?
Okay. Okay, he will answer for himself. Welcome. Let's hear you. Who's it?
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Now you get the number again.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you. Big brother joining up a little.
Yeah, thank you so much. Center, thank you so much. I think if we have more of center in Liberia, we'll have a lot to achieve. So that even the part of project sites they are talking about will not just be three counties, that they can spray in other places for the work that they are doing to be impacted across the country. And I think LACC too, I understand they have their statutory responsibility, but there should be a need that when they come out with some findings and the central government is not acting or the president is slow to act, let them come up periodically to confront the executive. Let them tell people that, look, we came out with these findings, but up to now nothing has happened, and it is concerning to the public. But to just do their report and just sit down, I think all of us collectively have to do this. They have to do some vigorous follow-ups. Let them put the government on record that we have reminded you 2-3 times about the findings of certain investigation, but you are not doing anything. But the last thing is a question. I'm not saying, do you find it easy to also deal with the legislature? because I think the executive is more on a spotlight when it comes to your work. But what do you do with what happens in the legislature in terms of accountability? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thanks so kindly, sir. We can squeeze in one more, and we wrap up with him to respond. Let's see who's right here. 777-700-995, 555-995-995. Those who are there. Welcome. Hello?
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Quickly.
Thank you. Let me good evening to the MD, activist and honestly, it's not been a day that we will listen to Honorable Anderson Miame that we not carry nothing home. He has not doing extremely well in the fight against corruption, and I believe that it's about time he collaborate with all smaller civil society organizations like Luda, like Night for Justice and Accountability, like Moja, like all civil society.
But what is your scope of operations that someone should collaborate with you?
Yeah, thank you, Julius. I can't give you the whole collaboration because time is fast spent.
Okay, so then fine here now. Fine here.
Invite me in studio. I will give you
Is it in studio you account to seek collaboration from center? You can go to center office?
No, I'm talking about you now.
No, but not me. I'm not asking the question because of me.
It's just a recommendation.
No, but who told you that me can recommend? I might see you, man. Go to center office. Go there. Thanks so kindly. Let's go to our guest.
Thank you, Julius. I'm really excited that all of the calls that came in were supportive of the things that we've been saying and doing. It shows that we not just Centar, but even you, the media, and all the different stakeholders that are talking about citizens' involvement in the fight against corruption and all these different accountability issues. These different engagements are making impact to the extent that people who even support the government will be saying that, look, what you're saying, benefits the public. They are not seeing it from a partisan standpoint, but from the standpoint of, nationalism and all of that. That's laudable. We engage with the legislature. Of course, the reality is we engage a lot more with the executive because, there are different reasons around that. But one of it, especially from our end, is the fact that, after passing all these different laws, we engage around passage of laws when we're having conversation around the new LACC Act and all of that. We're very actively engaging with the legislature. We do some monitoring in terms of, tracking what to do. But the reality is we need to do a lot more. So there was a question around decentralization. We intend to do that at least with the Swedish, the Irish, and all these people coming in. We've been able to decentralize our activities, not our office physically, but we're working in more than 8 counties at the moment. Of course, it is not the extent to which we really want to see it, but that's progress there, and we can build upon it. There was another question around, I think it was the leadership of Centar. I'm not the owner person, even though I'm the head, but we have a whole team. There is a program manager. He's here often. There are people that are leading different programs that appear on different platforms all of the time. But the reality is, as head of the institution, you most likely will engage a little bit more. We have a whole communication team, a radio program that they run. So Centar is not just Anderson. There's a whole team we have there. People we're building, building up, to continue with the work and even do more the day we decide to leave. So at no time, we don't have time, but it's always a pleasure to be here. We want the best for Liberia. I was talking somewhere recently, and I made a point that we need to get to a point where we see the fight against corruption as a resource mobilization tool. The leakages we have in our revenue generation system, if we can address them, we'll move to billions and even more. We don't need to identify new revenue streams necessarily. So that is the way we need to see this whole fight against corruption. We launched the National Development Plan. There have been different, information going around about government saying that they can commit, up to about 30%
Yeah,
of,
now,
the
that's what
total
they said,
the
30%.
total resources needed to implement the
That's
agenda.
why in the document.
I mean, that's concerning. Then who owns the document? Is it the partners that own it?
Next
We
week,
can have a
that's
whole
what
we can have a
next
whole
week we're going to
conversation
deal
around
with
that.
the
But
national
yeah,
development. But thanks for
you.
being here. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Okay, my name is Julius J. We are out. Tomorrow, Chok will be here next week. We will be back. We'll leave you with William Smith's brief. Shortly, the news team may come, but be listening to brief.